So first one here. So Tinsy submitted this. Dear devs, as we've heard, y'all are wanting to destroy the mage tree. Why is it so dramatic, my guy? Shit, Tinsy, man. Also, if you guys are enjoying the stream, man, make sure you throw us up, because that helps a lot. Okay, dear devs, as we've heard, y'all are wanting to destroy the mage stream and make thousands of lives miserable. Wow, okay, it's already getting really deep. If or when you decide to implement that permanent long-range warfare, at least give us mages something in return for having to deal with archers demolishing us. Jeez. Potential things to add. Increased skill damage when fighting archers, make this research. So someone have to remind me on this, because I was under the impression that when long-range warfare was originally introduced, that you ended up taking a little bit of a damage debuff for having the increased range. That's what I remember. So it says, give us more defense-based stats on mage units. Increase. Okay, thank you, Dream. I thought that was the case when I read it. No, I don't know how much it was. You said it Phil targeted. Okay. Oh, was that a typo? Maybe there. But and again, I'd have to go back and watch one of my videos for exactly what it did. But again, my understanding was it lowered a little bit of the DPS, but it increased the range to have the same distance as very long range or very far, technically, as what mages had. So it says increase merits. Tinsy says increase merits gained with mage units could potentially be merits gained from skill damage increased by 10 to 15%, maybe even 20. Okay. So I think the thing to understand is that we don't know. Let's understand. We don't know what's going to happen with long-range warfare, right? We don't know. And this is funny to me. Dude, if you look at some of the memes, which is diabolical, some of these, about long-range warfare over the past couple days. Look at this, dude. Annual says, here's how the two different groups are different. Or sorry, here's how the two groups are different. Reaction to LRW troll news. Fake mage main, I don't want to fight on equal terms. True mage main, LRW or not, I'll still crush them. It just, dude, it's absolutely hilarious. Oh my gosh, hang on. Where was this other one? Oh god, there was another one on LRW. This one was funny. I actually thought this was funny. Mage mains right now. I'd like to speak to a manager. It's good, man. It's good. Dude, this one, Emperor Palpatine. Archer main with no LRW. I'm too weak. Exact same archer, unlimited power, and then people were just posting massive stuff. And then Payne had this one here where he said, these suggestions are a meme in and of itself. People need to get a grip. My God. And then someone posted Elk Riders. I don't get it, man. God, let me see. Was there another one I thought somebody posted one more here. Oh yeah, thank God. It was too good. All right. Okay, let's go back. I want to finish reading this. So, what are my thoughts on this Tinsy one? Oh wow, did one of you guys just X this? So what are my thoughts on this? First and foremost, we don't know what's going to happen. So I might actually just opt out of just voting on anyway, because we don't know how it's going to be. However, I guess this is technically a hypothetical. So do we think that mages should be given more base stats? I mean, my whole thing is if they do it the same way, I mean, first and foremost, let's say they actually add long-range warfare back in. Keep in mind that this was a seasonal policy. It wasn't passively added into the game forever. It was only for that season. So do we think that, okay, they might test this out another season? Or do we think it's going to just get perma added? I don't think it's going to get perma added. I think if anything, they test it out another season and get feedback. If it acts the same way it did before, then archers will have a little bit less DPS, but they'll have the increased range. So I personally don't think that this needs to happen. So you know what? Maybe I will exit. Okay, let's go to the next one. Ooh, Silver posted something here. What do you guys say? Iggy, what's up, man? Welcome. Images got around a 10% skill damage boost. Oh, interesting. So Iggy's saying that there was a 10% skill damage boost in some passive rage regeneration that season when LRW launched. Oh, interesting. Okay. And I will say this, I think again, I don't know if it was because of the uproar caused from that, but like I said, I recall by the time it went into effect, there was a little bit less damage it did, but it increased the range. It was like damage or some targeting factor. Or I should say. Dream says mages just got destroyed by counterattack, I think. Oh gosh. Yeah. D-Ball says I will nuke them all with my mages. Okay, so what does Silver got for us? Ooh, okay, I haven't messed around with the pet breeding system yet. I don't know if I probably will. I'm curious what you guys think on this. So Silver says, change the pet breeding system, or AKA the make love system. It makes no sense for pets to disappear after breeding them. Let's be real. For a moment, the only pets people are going to be breeding are epic pets because they want legendary pets to use. Okay. Meaning that it's very likely they spent regeneration pots to get them, so them disappearing afterward just makes those pots something they could have spent to get a legendary pet directly. Okay, and then there is the fact that those pet skills had skills on them. Having two pets disappear and pulling the lowest possible legendary roll is a terrible feeling. Now, not only do I have to feel bad about getting a useless pet roll, but now I can't get the skills from the parents' pets. Oh, interesting. Or sell the skills for pet coins. So all in all, I have spent 40 regeneration pots, 2 pets, and 2 skills that I could have either used or sold for coins. I mean, this seems like a good point. All to get the same result as if I had just spent regen pots on a pet. So it's not even slightly worth it to attempt to breed my pets. Oh, I wonder if this is a problem at certain power levels, or if this is just universal across the board, i.e., would someone who's free to play low spend have this problem, or would they be more impacted, or is this just kind of at the end game phase? I'm curious if any of you guys have done this. Do you feel that way? Like if you're basically at a point where all you're really trying to do is just min-max to get S tier skills and maximize your stats at that point because you have really good pets, but you're just trying to get them a little bit better. Is that the case? So in synopsis, please either get rid of the function where you lose your pets when you breed, or increase the chances of getting better pets from breeding. Okay, because as it stands, there is no feel-good moment when breeding. It's all feel-bad moments. It's just not worth breeding pets right now, even though it was a cool idea. Okay, so Swadix, so you're saying yes. Okay. You know what? I don't know too much, but I'll give it a green. Okay, what's this one? Oh God, this is already starting off rough. Listen, I love these rage comments, bro. At least the ones that feel like it. Listen to your community. Okay, so it's already about to be a little hot and heavy. If we have a suggestion that gets upvoted more than 200 times and more than once, like if we had it with the new King feature, when this applies, you can't just think about maybe adjusting it, but you should do as we say, even if you can greed less money out of the King set. Jeez. Oh my God. First and foremost, this is aggressive. We'll say that. Is this something that I would upvote? No. Why? Because it is poorly written. It's not formatted, not constructed, and it's just kind of like a hate suggestion, right? You could get the same point across with just nicer and more competent words, let's say. Okay, what's this one? Bring back getting 1-slot pets for mating event. Don't remove it just because it's something the community liked and got excited about. Ooh, okay, what do you guys think on this one? Is this a yay? Bring back getting 1-slot pets from the mating event. Don't remove it just because it's something the community likes. Okay. I'm not sure on this one. So I will have to. Okay. So Iggy says, yes, this was amazing. Okay. All right. We'll upvote. Okay. Next one. Pasta did this one. Okay. Devs really need to buff I've been hearing about the G3 mages thing here. Is this legit? Because I haven't seen any data to support this either way. It's just been kind of speculation or things that people have said. So devs really need to buff G3 mages, Thundel and Thea as examples. They are absolutely garbage. After Mu came out, which is technically a Gen 2 hero, Mu Thea is doing way more damage than Gen 3 mages. People spend more money on this game, and devs are basically screwing all the mage players. Archers get better season by season, but so far mages are stagnant in terms of power creep. You got Gen 1 combo Lily of Eln, a Gen 1 and 2 combo Muthea, out damaging a Gen 3 hero is just outright embarrassing. So I wonder, do you guys care about this that much to a point where you feel that the latest gen or the newest hero absolutely needs to be the strongest version in that troop type? Or are you okay with this hero has a specific use and then another hero has a different specific use? Because part of me feels like that would almost be a better case than then the devs just kind of doing the basic, okay, well, here's the newest hero. It obviously is the strongest. We want you to run it and power it up, which kind of feels, I guess when I really sit back and think about this, probably seems like that just is their game plan most of the time, right? Because if you're releasing a hero and it's new, it's interesting, it's got maybe some hype around it, you obviously want people in the community to spend money on it because this is the new thing. Right? Why are you going to make all that effort releasing a new hero if no one's going to end up buying it? So, but I don't know. To me, this just kind of sounds like this is basic Kingdom Builder hero release logic, which is, we release new heroes, get people excited. They have to be good enough that people want to spend money on them. But do they need to be the absolute best version or the new best hero within that hero type set? I don't know. It's an interesting thought. Yeah. Yes. Swat. Yeah. Jan's like, yeah, the issue is always this, right? Wide above G3 if sometime we saw some just bad building. And see, oh my God, that is such a great point, Jan. And this is something that I was actually thinking about yesterday when I saw people talking about something in the COD Discord. And I thought to myself, man, how many people might just be having bad builds? How many people maybe just aren't optimizing appropriately? Maybe it's a bad war pet that's attached. Maybe it's not the best optimized talent tree that they could be running. And what if that is skewing the results that they're seeing in the open field, in rallies, when they're fighting? And that makes them think, it gives them like this false sense of I guess an unrealistic approach or unrealistic expectations that they may have for the newest heroes that come out. And part of me wonders, is that the case? Because the fact is it's not like there's one group that's out there just straight up testing everything, making everything public, and then saying, okay, here's the truth behind it. Like, no one's done that. I think Guns has done a little bit of testing and some other people have done testing, but no one is out there saying, well, we're going to test every single pairing. We're going to test every variation. We're going to try at least the popular ones, testing maybe popular talent tree layouts, testing maybe 2 or 3 or 4 different war pet combinations, maybe some different artifact combinations. Like, is there a group that's really stress testing those things to then come out and say, okay, now we feel confident in saying that, yeah, G3 needs to be buffed a little bit more, or these particular heroes do. So, and then on top of that, do these particular heroes have value? Do they have usage in a specific area? Even if they may not be the strongest, are they still viable to be used or not? So no, I completely agree there. I feel like part of it is, like, I want to see some data behind that. I don't want people just to be like, oh my God, I'm in the field and there's so many X factors on like how many people are targeting you, who are you targeting? And it's like, and then you look at your reports after and you think to yourself, oh man, I'm totally getting screwed here. So part of me feels like with something like this, you really have to look at the data and you have to look at a lot of reports, but you also have to understand that when you're out there fighting in the field, that's not where you're doing a controlled stress test, right? A controlled test is where you're doing like a 1-on-1, a 2-on-2, maybe a 5-on-5, right? Like, you're doing things that are usually even numbers because you want to try and see what the raw data is telling you from a report. When you're out in the field fighting, it's like, it can be anarchy. It could just be anything goes. And because you're not in a controlled environment, part of me, I guess to put it simply, I feel like there's just a lot of factors. That's really what I'm trying to say, is that if you really want to do this properly, you have to do a controlled environment test first to see what the numbers look like from new heroes that are being released. And then you can maybe go from there. Iggy says Thalia, Thalia is pretty meh. Okay. They do all right, but not amazing. Some of us were happy until they released Moo, and we regretted our Thalia investment. Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. Beans, what's up? It's important that new heroes are the strongest so that the devs can make money. Yeah, otherwise people will just continue using what they already have. And like I said, I'm not against that. I'm not against if people want to come, if the devs want to come out. And again, that seems to obviously be the case on Rock and other games where it's like, yeah, you probably want the newest hero to be appealing, to be eye-catching, and probably maybe to be a little bit stronger than whatever else is out there. Maybe not to say it's OP, but yeah, maybe to be a little bit stronger so you can recoup the investment you've put in. I understand that much. Yeah. And I mean, obviously, even if it is the newest hero, you're still going to need up to 5 marches at the end of the day. So it's not as though one hero is necessarily going to make or break. I mean, maybe a pairing here or there might. Yeah. Iggy says Thunderland has amazing usage. Okay. Mobile says the issue is people only look number go up or down. Number up, number down. I hit stronger, I hit weaker. But what if that G3 hero marches through debuffs or making your other marches getting 15%, 20 more damage? And that's a good point. Part of me feels like that can inflate how people feel about certain compositions, certain matchups, and certain marches. And that just kind of goes into those X factors. Like, who's to say you don't get debuffed, you're out there fighting, it happens to you consecutively, and now all of a sudden you think this hero pairing that, let's say, on average performs well, is all of a sudden performing bad for you, and then you go and complain, and maybe a few other people have it, and then it just becomes this megaphone effect, right? It's like this confirmation bias of just because you have a few people in your group saying yes, and you're speaking the loudest, it doesn't necessarily mean that it is absolutely bad or that it's weaker. No, absolutely. Like I said, I think the problem is that there's just too much he said, she said right now, right? I don't know anyone that's doing thorough testing. I'll tell you this much. If I had an account that was big, I would organize this with people. Like, I would just organize a day, I'd track the data, I'd make it public, and I'd say, look, this is what we're going to test today. So we can really find out kind of what it is. And that way, then you get a better idea on, okay, well, open field matchup. How does maybe the Rally Garrison matchup look? I just feel like that's the thing. But the problem with doing those kinds of tests is that, you know, again, who's going to want to sit there and do a lot of those tests, you know, unless you're like mid-heavy spending and you don't mind spending the resources on the troops that you're either getting sent to the hospital, or if you're doing Rally Garrison testing, the ones that are dying. Right. And that's the other part of it is like, yeah, I think as much as people would really want to do proper tests, how much incentive is there to test for a long period of time to really make it? So an example, let me give you an example. Infinity Kingdom had this thing where you could test matchups for free. Didn't cost you anything. So it was its own mechanic where you could go in and plug in the commanders or heroes on marches, what their talent tree loadout was, what their accompaniment was. So like a war pet artifact example. And then you could test out your march against those. To me, it almost feels like that's what we need. We need some kind of like training ground, some kind of building or area you can go into where anyone can join it and you can kind of do these thorough tests. Anyways, okay. So undecided on that one. All right, let's go to the next. Damn, this one has a lot of no's. Okay, allow war pet trading with anyone. Oh, interesting. For example, if I have a dead account in server 346, this is now all of a sudden becoming oddly specific. I want to be able to transfer the war pet I spent so much money on to a newer account. I'm going to be honest. Okay. Do I think the idea at face value sounds okay? Sure. However, when we dig deep into it, This is no different than someone who is a mid-high heavy spender just straight up funding people's accounts, which, to be fair, obviously can be done anyways. But you could have just a number of top players, strong accounts, heavy spending accounts that just are out there getting the best of the best stuff and then throwing those pets to other players. Now, obviously, things like RSS transferring is nothing new. There are a number of players in the game that are big top players. They spend a good amount on their accounts and they share a lot of resources with players in their kingdoms. This is nothing new. But I don't know. Part of me feels, I shouldn't say I don't know. Part of me feels as though this could really get out of hand. I understand what they probably want to do is it's probably just, right, maybe for whatever reason, they don't want to play on their account, but their account just ends up having like this one really good thing that they wish their current account had, right? That could be the case. But in other cases, you can't just look at it in the one way. You have to look at it at how it would be applied globally in the game to other players. So to me, I think I probably would go no on this. I don't know if I'm sold. I just feel like this, it could turn into, now, maybe the dev team looks at this and they say to themselves, oh, wow, people would spend more money on war pets and then just transfer them to other people in the kingdom, which makes them spend more money. Maybe they take a second look at that and like, okay, maybe. It's funny. Yeah, Reaper, what's up? Yo, was that video with the top 200 players gave you March's Sybil 3 and 4? Was that real or were they trolling? That was real from what I know. There was one player out of the top 202 that did send me some straight troll marches that had basically just a bunch of gathering heroes. It was like Kella and Chakcha and oh god, I just can't remember the rest. Yeah, so someone actually did do that and it was only one person. And the screenshot they sent me basically was just like blue and purple heroes, and half of them were oh god, sorry, half of them was gathering heroes. So like that one to me was an obvious troll. Sorry, you're saying the Thunderland Sybil March wasn't a troll? Again, I don't know. I'd have to look because from my understanding, let me see here. Oh, I see. Just because one's magic, one's archer, one's marksman. Maybe. That one might not have been super obvious to me. Possibly it could have been. Maybe, but keep in mind, even if that was, like, let's say as an example, there was one troll march out of the 5 that they had. It wasn't like they sent me all 5. You know what I mean? So maybe, I mean, listen, I'll say this. Everyone that I've reached out to has always been really nice and really willing to share, which I always appreciate. You know, again, my hope is that everyone is just honest about what they're sharing because it's something that I'm going to share with the community. And thankfully, I've never had a situation or a case arose or that has arisen where, you know, it's just so blatantly obvious that, you know, no one's taking it seriously. I feel like the majority of people do. And that doesn't mean that, you know, some things might not slip through the cracks. And maybe that could be one. But like I said, if it was, then that would have been the one out of those 5 marches in the set that they sent me. So. Engineer Rick, what's up, man? Devs really need to buff infantry heroes. They're pure garbage right now. Yep. Oh, really? You know, the one thing I really would like to see, and I need to ask Fuzzy about this, is there a way to pull data on the heroes being used? Either in the open field or maybe just being used in wars. Like I'm curious if there's a way to maybe track that. Just anything maybe about marches would be dope. Yeah. Dem boys WAO, Captain Cod, what up, man? Mobile says, like imagine losing 10% merits on one march, but that march gives your other marches 20% more merits. Excuse me, at the end, and that's worth. But you look at that report alone and say, "Mad trash." So you lose 10% merits on one march, but that march gives your other marches 20% more merits at the end. Okay, that's worth. But you look at the report alone and say, "Mad trash." Okay, that actually makes sense. Reaper says it sounds like this guy bought a bigger account. Yeah, right. No, absolutely. Okay, so let me see. What did Easy Peasy put for his son? Okay, so the 10% destruction engineer bonus on the Wilderberg faction is pretty pointless, useless due to there being a destruction speed cap in the game. I would suggest changing it to something more useful. They already have Wyvern Riders, which are the worst unit in the game. They shouldn't be handicapped more by a useless faction bonus. Spring Warden has elixir production. League of Order has gathering speed. I would change Wilderberg to something like Legion load capacity or increased resource production speed to put them more on par with other factions. This actually doesn't sound bad. I'm somewhat in favor. I feel like this was pretty straightforward and stated by Easy Peasy. Okay. Put an automatic alliance chest. Oh, this is funny. Put in an automatic alliance chest opener like it opens 10 after 10 after 10 on its own. Yes, I am lazy. I do. Listen, man, some of these people, absolutely no shame. That is funny to me. Yeah, like you just don't care. I don't know. I'm conflicted now. I'm conflicted because the honesty is so genuine and pure. And that's funny. It's just somewhat funny to me. Yeah. I mean, listen, would everyone like just to have an automatic chest opener? I don't think people are necessarily against that. I feel like if you asked people, I feel like if the COD team came out and said, "Hey, we're considering putting an automatic chest opener in the game," right? Or even saying that, "Hey, it's going to come out," dude. I don't think anyone's going to be there sitting to themselves like, "You know what we don't need in the game? this super convenient automatic chest opener." All right, well, we'll throw our support. Okay. War Pet evolution. Make your War Pet evolve into a bigger, cooler monster once their War Pet talent skills upgraded. Huh? Dude, some of the stuff that people are just working in. It's one suggestion, man. It's not two or more suggestions in one. Yeah, I can't vote. I can't vote on that because there's Jesus. TPJ, where's the troop swap event gone? Apparently it was live. Okay, yeah, that's already about something that someone said. Jeez, man. Dude, I'm telling you, man, these are hilarious. I love reading through these. General pet for physical flying troops, please. Flying heroes need the equivalent to a Shadow Manticore, Sapphire Fae, Sand, Venom Lizard, which are all just generally good pets and have many pairings. I'll have to defer this one to you guys on what you think on that one. Abdus says, oh yeah, I already upvoted this one. Remove intercepting once dimensional duel is used. This means you can indefinitely hold an alliance at a bridge or choke point by rotating in duels. Very dumb. Not supposed to be in the game. Fix ASAP. And again, they've already stated this is going to be fixed. They just said that it's going to be fixed in the next update. So we'll see how that goes. Here we go. We got the PP killer. All right, touche. We can definitely see that codes of gems increase attraction to streamers' viewership, even if by a little. I think as devs, you should give values which I think are reasonable. 10 codes of 1K gems per month to the content creators. What is it like 100K gems at the end so they can distribute them on their own videos, live streams to their viewers whenever they want? I mean, I guess I see where they're going with this. You know, the thing is, they have given us stuff to distribute and to provide. I just, I'll say this. I'm not a fan of constantly giving out codes or basically giving people where the sole reason, giving them a reason where that primary reason to tune into someone's stream is because they're going to win something. To me, those things should be icings on the cake and shouldn't be abused in a sense, or at least given out maybe all the time. Now, maybe let's say you're established, you already have a consistent amount of people that are coming in, and it's like, okay, people are kind of throwing codes. I feel like, okay, maybe a little different, but I don't know. Part of me just feels like, I mean, don't get me wrong, right? I think you could look at it the other way too as well. Like maybe people distribute codes, you get new people coming in, and maybe because those new people are coming in, maybe they do listen to you a little bit and you get some retention, right? That could obviously happen as well. Yeah. Okay, why not? We'll throw some support on that one. I mean, if it lets me click it. Okay, let me see. Rabagash says, Ion changed color name of troops on Dimensional Duel. In simple mode, the animation doesn't show up, so most people don't know if there is Dimensional Duel with the coalition. You get stuck. Okay. This sounds like it's pretty straightforward. McCraven, do not give auto collect for villages. What about all these people who collected manually? Not fair. Dude, absolutely, man. Get out there and grind like the rest of everyone that isn't me. Make pets of their own troop type have a higher chance of getting their respective skills. So Sapphire, because it's magic pet, will have a higher chance of getting magic skills than physical. Huh, interesting. So basically make it so, oh, I see. Okay, I see where they're going with this. Like they basically want to reduce the grind and have it so there's a higher percentage chance of that pet getting a particular skill for their type versus kind of having to pick from the buffet line. I'll have to think on this one. I think a little bit more. I don't know. Because part of me feels like that's part of the grind, right? Of you having to go through that and finding something that works, right? It's like kind of playing bingo. You don't know if your number is going to get called, but you still got to fill in your lines or whatever shape you're making on your bingo card. Yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys think on that one. Please make the old G2 heroes easier to obtain for free to play, like add them to the golden chest pool or something. Thanks for considering. I mean, absolutely, dude. This is a no-brainer to me. Asian Admiral, you're a godsend. I mean, listen, what have I been saying forever? Which is they need to add heroes after they have been in the game for a certain point. They need to get automatically added to the chests, right? To the golden chest, to the gold chest, right? And I can understand you want to release a hero, and that's not to say you're going to put it immediately there, but yeah, am I okay with you releasing a hero and then 3 months go by or a season goes by and then after that season that it's been released for, then it gets added to the gold? Absolutely. There is no doubt in my mind that I think people would appreciate the game so much more and they'd consider it to be that much more free-to-play friendly if you took heroes, and I'm not saying remove it from spending capabilities or from events that you can win shards or sculptures, right? Or heads, if you will, for those heroes on. I'm simply saying that after a new hero has been introduced, after a period of time, preferably a shorter period of time than longer, they get added in addition to the gold chest. This is absolute, dude. And I'll tell you right now, dude, the first game that does this, as long as they're good on other things, I think that game is gonna do well, because that to me is so free to play friendly. It's ridiculous. Auto collect for villages at least. Yeah, no. Grind, bro. Grind. Okay, the chef's room. If changes have been made without anyone being notified about them, please reverse the changes of chances getting a pet with legendary attributes after regeneration. It feels like that chances are lower after the recent update. Okay. I mean, listen, am I in favor for transparency and just accountability of, if you're going to make a change, post it? Absolutely. Take my arrow. What? Shocked on what that means. As more heroes will be added to gold chest pool, will be harder to gain certain heroes. For this, I suggest the following. Add a weekly favorite hero pool to the gold chest. Oh, interesting. Pandy, what up? What up, homie? Okay. Add a weekly favorite hero pool to the gold chest. So every 2 weeks, or sorry, every week, 2 legendary heroes will be the weekly favorites, and their chances of gaining them will be doubled compared to other legendary heroes. Ooh, I like this. I like how this is starting out. Oh my God. Every week it cycles to other heroes in the pool. This way you can save up keys to the hero you want is added as a favorite, keeping it more RNG friendly. Oh my God, this is not a bad suggestion. So to take this a step further, this is my thought. Let's take this a step further. So let's say you get your pool, right? You get your pool of heroes for the gold chest. And let's say that maybe you still can you get all the heroes, but I guess they're just saying that it's 2 that will have a higher percentage each week, but you still can pull from any of the heroes. See, part of me thought the way this was going to start out was saying you can customize the 10 heroes or so that are in your gold chest, and you can pick which 10 you want to focus on. Like something else like that, I was actually thinking, okay, this is interesting. Maybe that's where they're going with this. But I do like this as well. I think this is a really good idea where basically it's just 2 legendary heroes a week have a higher percentage chance of being pulled, so you get to use your keys for that. Dude, really good suggestion. Oh my God. Dude, take my arrow. Bro, you could take my arrow anytime, baby. Whatever that means. Tinsy, what up, bro? Yo, we just looked at your suggestion, Tinsy, too, as well. I think I downvoted it, but I still love you. My shadow. Okay, remove merits from the starting zone and home realm. Whoa, remove merits from the starting zone and home realm for servers entering the new season, only for realms with season 3. What? Only for realms from season 3 onwards. This will prevent merit trading. I can't remember. I have to go back down, Tinsy. I can't remember now. Let me see. Where was it? I thought you posted one down here. No? Was it before silver? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, no. I did downvote it. I'm sorry, Tinsy. Hang on. Let me explain, though. The only reason I downvoted this, Tinsy, was, hang on. I gave an explanation. The reason I downvoted this was specifically because of how was because we don't know how LRW will be introduced, if it is at all. Right? So an example would be like if you're going to say that the defense base stats on mages needs to be improved, skill damage when fighting archers needs to be improved, then you have to also say like what's going to happen with the archers for long range warfare. Now, if this is just assuming that no debuff, because remember the last time that long range warfare was introduced, archers did get a little bit of a debuff to compensate for them having increased range. So I don't think it's likely, based on what happened before, of them just a la carte giving you and saying, you know what, we're not going to debuff archers. We're just going to flat out give them increased range. I don't think that's going to happen. So that's why I'm saying I would like to see, and that's only if it gets introduced. We don't know if it's going to get introduced, but that's what I'm saying. Right now, if your suggestion was a little more broad on saying, just be, like you were giving an example of saying, well, if LRW is going to be permanent and it's going to be added, just be sure that you do something similar to what you did the first season that compensates so that way archers don't all of a sudden become OP, like where you gave them a debuff for getting the increased range. I would be okay with that because I feel like that's a little bit more generalized. I just felt like this is too specific for a situation that we don't have really any hard details on yet. So that's the only reason why. Right? It's not to say that I generally disagree with the fact that you don't necessarily want LRW to be introduced and all of a sudden archers are just the OP thing out there. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying that when we're submitting suggestions, it's like what's that line from that Aladdin live action, right? Where Will Smith is talking to Aladdin in the desert, and he says, like, the wish is in the detail, like the details in the detail, something like that. Oh, Tinsy says, I'm trying to prevent a waiting time of 6 months for them to do something for mages after. Oh, I see. 35% is nothing. Half their damage should be gone. They already said that. Okay, they'll do less damage based on how long they shouldn't, but we both know COD is archer mates. I mean, and see, that's the thing. Like, I want to see what those numbers look like. Tinsy says, I'm already investigating into Bahorn in case they scratch mag for mages too. I mean, listen, man, who knows? Right at that point. Pedivo, what's up, man? Thank you for the sub. Means a lot. I appreciate it, man. I'm gonna give you some confetti in chat because I'm a gentleman. Okay. Shadow says remove merits from the starting zone and home realm for servers entering the new season. Only for realms from season 3 onwards. This will prevent merit trading and encourage combat between other servers. Many people stop fighting because they know they can trade merits with their secondary accounts. Interesting. Remove merits from the starting zone and home realm. Okay, I see. I think I see where they're going with this. But I think the problem that people have to, yeah, this is hard. I don't think that this should. I'm initially thinking this should not get upvoted, and I say that because think about all the people that constantly merit trade just so they can meet weekly minimums and being able to buy things from the merit store. I feel like that has to be considered. Now, unless they're going to go the direction of saying, well, you should earn so many merits in KVK that it should be able to supplement when you're in home realm and or in the starting zone for the next KVK, where you still should be able to buy things weekly, daily from the merit store. Okay. If that's where they're going with that. And I guess I kind of see it both ways. Like on one end, I understand it's like, okay, if you encourage more PvP, you get more merits, and then you can use those merits after the KVK is done. And obviously you can still merit trade in zone 2 and onward. But this is like a really conflicting suggestion. What do you guys think on this? Is anyone leaning a certain way here? Because again, I can see an argument being made on both sides, where it's like I said, if you don't add it and you leave it the way it is now, you're still going to have merit trading regardless, but you're just going to have to wait until you get to zone 2 or the statue's open to fight. And if you take it away in Home Kingdom, and then okay, could that encourage more PvP? Sure, I could see the argument there. But then what'll happen if some people that were originally relying on merit trading in the Home Kingdom and in the starting zone to be able to buy things from the shop, how will those people feel? So like that to me just feels like that could be an extreme trade-off. Okay. Oh, so okay. So Penny says absolutely no. Okay. So some no's are coming out. So you guys feel pretty strongly about the okay. So this is and like I said, I feel like the extreme side on removing it is more extreme than keeping it in. Yeah. Like to me, I could see us doing no on this if maybe they made the amount of things or the cost of merits, the value of merits, the merit value per things in the shop may be less, so you'd have an easier time buying more. Something like that, right? Tizzy says, go down to the bottom of it. All right, Tizzy, we'll do it in a moment. I got you. Pedivo, in Summoner's War, there's a weekly pool of heroes. Nat 5 to Nat 3. I'm assuming that means tier. Or is that tier, or does that mean like generation? So we can try and a new coin to try there. Okay. So Summoner's War does something like this. Like I said, man, if you're talking about this one that we upvoted, absolutely. This is, I think, a really good idea that this person put. Take my arrow. And that's kind of what they were saying here, which was, right, having 2 legendary heroes a week that just have a higher percentage of pool. when you use a gold key. So that's interesting that you're saying Summoner's Word does something like that. Is that how it is, though? Is the Nat thing, is that generations, or is that tier? Well, I guess it wouldn't be tier, right? It would be maybe legendary, but that sounds like that might be more of a generation thing, where it's like, oh, this is like a season 1 hero, season 2. Is that what the Nat stuff means? Yeah. But that's interesting that someone else is doing it. So I think I'm going to say no. Maybe we'll say no for this. But I'm going to give it a soft no. I feel like this could maybe have been a yes if it was thought out a little bit more. Okay. So Petavo says it's quality of heroes, 1 star to 5 star. Okay. So what's the NAT? What's the NAT? What's that short for? Oh, interesting. So if it's quality of heroes, that means that you could have epics and uncommons in there. Okay. But you're saying that there's a new weekly pool. Interesting. Okay. Again, I still think it's a good idea. I feel like it's similar to what Shadow was saying. Or sorry, Arrow was saying. Okay. Hetler says, add new heroes in Behemoth Trial with PvP skill talent tree. Behemoth Trial. I'll have to defer to you guys on this one. I don't know too much on this one, so I'd love to hear what you guys think there. The Black Pearl. Why do we need to pay $400 just to migrate scamming in broad daylight? Oh, gosh. Okay. I will X this only because, I mean, this is just like a hate suggestion, right? Regardless if you agree or disagree, you have to formulate a proper suggestion if you want people to support it, right? And supporting in the sense of where not just people to support it, but the COD team and the devs. You have to understand how they're going to read something and how they will be receptive to something you're saying versus what they won't. And the fact is the way that this is worded doesn't feel like it probably will get their attention. And you could have said the same exact thing, but just worded a little more eloquently. Okay. So Petavo says Nat 5 is the best, hard to get like legendary. Okay, cool. Okay, so bad number. Dude, what a name. Bad number. Let's try again. One new suggestion about migration cost. Maybe if we suggest this every day, the devs will notice, right? We don't care if you make migration cheaper or if you add new possibilities to gain permits if you are in a dead kingdom. Or if you do anything to help players get out of a dead kingdom without spending $385, we just want something to help players get out of dead servers. Yeah. I mean, again, simple solution. You've heard me say this. Rise of Kingdoms is already starting. I mean, look, dude, it took them 6 years to finally put in or starting to work in merging kingdoms. I am all for this, but I just feel like let's try doing the merging of dead kingdoms first and seeing how that works. Now, I'm also okay. And we've talked about this before. Like if you're banishing someone or you're excommunicating them / excluding them from the kingdom, kicking them out the kingdom, I like the idea that I proposed before, which is have a banishment server or a kingdom that is just for banished players and allow those players to have an increased rate of permit gain, which is 2 permits a week that they can get, and then give them like a 10% discount, somewhere between like a 10 and 20% discount on the amount of permits they need to migrate out. I think something like that would be a good idea. And I feel like if you did something like that, you started merging dead kingdoms / inactive kingdoms, I feel like that could solve, at least be a I shouldn't say solve. Let me say be a stepping stone, right? To a solution that's a little more action oriented. Yeah. Pandy says, be a part of the solution, not the problem. Absolutely. Right. And that's the thing is like, I feel like people have to, I feel like this is, and maybe it is just common sense to me, but I just feel like if you're going to take the time to submit a suggestion, you should make an effort to write a proper suggestion. So that way it has the best odds of being seen and being upvoted, but also more importantly, being received well by the people that you want to receive it well, which is the devs. Keep in mind, you're not writing a suggestion as much as to have your peers and the community upvote or downvote it. You're writing a suggestion because you think this would be a great idea for the developers to implement, right? So you kind of have to look at it from two sides. Okay, next one here. What do we got? Yeah. And again, this is me not disagreeing. Like, I think that this is like, look, would I love for them just to go back to like the 5K gems that it costed for migration? Absolutely. I don't think anyone is getting off of that that advocacy train. Yeah. So you know what? I think I will upvote this because it is somewhat generalized a little bit. Okay, bring back turrets and barricades and combine them into turricades. What, dude? Who is submitting these suggestions? My God, I'm done. This is funny. You call them turricades, huh? Each turricade has a garrison and has to be rallied with a 30-minute burn. Oh my God, no, dude, I'm sorry. The moment that you worked in rally to barricades and turrets, or sorry, your turricades, yeah, dude, you can kick rocks, bro. Or girl, you know, depending, or gender neutral. Okay, next. Zirila, please allow us to convert honor points into something else like speed ups, resources, etc. if we are maxed level for VIP 15. I mean, damn, bro. I mean, just spender problems. Converting. Okay, so you want to be able to convert honor points similar to converting merits from the merit shop. So you want like an honor point shop? Is that what I'm hearing effectively? I mean, yeah. I will say this. Do I think it would be great if they did honor points that were only gained in zone 2s and beyond? Like, for example, in a KVK season, you can't gain honor points in starting zone, right? But you can only gain them in zone 2. In zone 2, zone 3, obviously maybe the statue areas, right, as well, yes. And then a final zone, yeah, I think that could be one step to having things like honor points be more meaningful and more of an accurate PvP statistic, right? I also think that honor points shouldn't count if you are attacking a resource tile. Just to have more of a focused emphasis on open field and rallies for what points are going to count towards. Because I just feel like the margin there has to be pretty low, where it's not going to be that bad, right? It's not like everyone is hiding in RSS tiles. You're not going to, it's like everyone's 100 versus 100ing people in RSS tiles. So I feel like those two could be good. I somewhat agree with this, but it's just not specific enough. So because of that, I am going to exit. It's just not specific enough. Okay, Center Visi. Okay, we'll do one or two more, and then we're going to do some video reactions. Okay, so we got add some activities after the dragon zone opens or shorten the season. Alliances need 1 to 2 days to reach the dragon. Because of wars, it may take longer, but almost always after reaching the dragon, all KVK stops and everyone loses motivation to fight. Farming, small wars, behemoth captures begins. Everyone is just waiting for the results of the season, and there is nothing to do for the remaining days. I mean, listen, this person is not wrong. Maybe the problem is with the players, but after that, it really seems like everyone doesn't want to do anything. I mean, I'll upvote this, but I'll upvote this understanding. We could talk about where the challenges are with this, absolutely. Because there are quite a few, even though we could probably point to some that are very specific. But I do think that generally speaking, this is a good idea to add more events in KVK towards the end of the season. Yeah. Like, let me give you a good example. Like, here's a phenomenal example. What if, okay, I might blow your minds away with this one. So be ready. Because when I say this, some of you are going to have some Jimmy Neutron brain blasts. I'll be shocked if someone doesn't go and submit this suggestion now that I just thought of it. I just had an epiphany. What if they ran PvP enticing events for things like rewards, increased merit gain for the first week of each zone opening. I mean, that's a great suggestion. That's a great idea. What if they did that? And I'm talking about in a KVK, right? So zone 2 opens for the first week in zone 2, the first week in zone 3, the first week in zone 5. They have increased, maybe it's increased merit gain, maybe it's additional rewards for going out there and fighting and maybe reaching certain milestones. And think if they did that every KVK. And I'm not saying the rewards have to be super OP, but just something. I feel like that would be a great way. Let me give you an example. They already do this, but the difference is they do this in SLE for Strongest Lord on the kill day. If you go out there and you PvP, you can get rewards. And it also factors into your overall ranking and standings. But imagine if they had specific KVK events that gave you some rewards and it was like a 7-day period. And that could encourage more fighting in those zones. Obviously, they would have to do more than just that, right? Or even if they just did it in the final zone. I mean, take your pick. Now, again, you still have to consider matchups, starting zone placements. There's obviously other things to fix. But to me, this seems like a golden goose of an idea, right? Maybe they might have do some fine tuning, but I, for one, am biasly on board for it. And clearly Jan Swadek is as well. So that's all we need. We're off to the races now. But I am curious on what some of you others might think as well, if you like that idea. Okay, next one here. Can you please put Legendary Mew and Born in Tavern? Keep pulling her epic heads, but I can't even use Absolutely. Dude, listen, anytime someone suggests something for adding more people to the tavern, especially for Gold Chest, I'm a fan. Hello, since last update, my Legion of Humans and Heroes. Okay, no. What's this? Balance for Archers, PP Killer. Slightly increase of march speed and a passive where if they're receiving damage from their back, they reduce it by 5 to 15%. The idea is to increase a harassment poke gameplay. So they go in, deal some damage to the enemy mages, and when they retreat, they don't get annihilated. I feel giving them the same range as mages, even with less damage, is kind of not ideal, as that's the main differentiation faction of both units. I think they meant factor. Plus, archers would seem more ideal as then whenever you get closer to them, they just deal more damage while mages don't. Maybe make it so the further the mages are, the more damage they deal, while the closer archers are, the more... Okay, that's actually somewhat interesting. But at the end, I feel the main issue of archers is that there's barely any infantry players. So if you don't have a strong front line, you become the front line as an archer. Is it just me, or is this person making a little bit of sense? Or am I crazy? What do you guys think on this one? Chris, what's up? Hey there, how we doing, man? We're doing good, man. We're doing good. We are we're trying to solve CallofDragons, essentially. No, but seriously, we're going through suggestions and just kind of talking them out and seeing that there's been some good ones, man. Some nice gems that we found so far. I think the problem here is I feel like if you're going to suggest to balance something, you need to... Chris is when you figured out, let me know so I could slap when I get T5s. Touche. This is my thing, right? I feel like if you're going to suggest balancing ideas, you need to address what the problem is first and give some numbers, some data, or at least something specific to address. Okay, here's the obstacle we're facing. Here's the suggestion I'm giving. And here's what I hope it will earn us. Like, here's what I hope the result will be. Because balancing is kind of a tricky pickle there. And I somewhat see what Killer's saying here, but part of me feels like I just need some baseline context. I don't know. What you guys let me know what you think on that one. Oh, this is good. So Miri says the opportunity to apply for a title if you already have one. Oh, I see. I like this. So basically being able to like rejoin the queue after you already have the title because you have to wait again to get it. Huh. Okay. I know. No. Hang on. Now. Hang on. Well, pump the brakes. The problem with something like this suggestion is not specific enough. Because let me give you an example of what could happen in the absolute worst case. And I'm sure some people probably already have the idea. You could just have someone who's just back to back to back to back to back applying for the same title the moment that they get it. And all of a sudden, they're the next in line. They apply for it again. They're the next in line, or they're really close. So this is not specific. And because it's not specific enough, I'm going to exit out because the worst case could be really bad. Now, maybe they don't mean that. But again, the devil is in the detail. Thank you. Okay, maybe this is the last. Maybe this is the last one we'll do. With migrating, historical highest power is what determines number of permits required. My suggestion: if a player loses power by, let's say, a lot of dead troops going from 100 million to 85 power overall due to permanent losses, should lead to less permits. I agree with this actually, dude. I'm shocked that someone is finally saying this. Because I am absolutely of mind that I'm okay with you having a historical power stat, but in no way in the right mind do I think that your permits should be based on your overall historical power. I am okay with it being based on your current historical power, and that would be if you incur a lot of deads and you go down to where your current total power with being fully healed is lower than what you were going into the KVK. I am okay with that being what the permits go off of. That actually makes some sense to me. And it would save some of the people some money. And it would encourage people to fight more as well, especially if they were already planning on migrating. And it gives them an out too as well, but it doesn't like mean that, they're not going to still have to spend money. They just will probably spend a little bit less, or they just don't have to get as many permits. I'm all for that. But let me finish reading. Okay, why? Because the average player losing that many troops is massive. Even if they are T5, that's a heavy loss. And if they are migrating, it should be cheaper because they likely got rallied because of two reasons. Well, rallying or we're doing the rallying. Player was in front lines with AFK. Their alliance was angry and they kicked the rally. Jeez. I don't know why it has to be so aggressive. And if they are migrating, it's probable that they no longer are wanted in that kingdom. So that being said, it's logical to allow cheaper migration under the circumstances that they actually had deaths. If they lose 5 million power but troops are in the hospital, then that doesn't count. Okay. I'm actually okay with this. I think this is actually a pretty good suggestion. I think it's pretty decently written. I think there could have been some more things added to it, but at its core, I agree with this.